NYWCites, and I am the administrator of the NYWC message board, Robert Lottie. House of Madness 2014 is in the books, and what an awesome show it was, and wow. We kicked off the show with A-listers J Red, Ultimo Maya, and Kato in the ring, and J Red announced to the crowd that they had a new bodyguard that would make the Big O look like the Little O, and he introduced Big Jonathan Evans. And J Red announced that someone didn't show up and called out Sammy Pickles to the ring. And the match was on, which saw J Red defeat Sammy Pickles thanks to Kato and Jonathan Evans. Eventually, Cooley K and the Grim Reaper hit the ring, and that leads up to Grim Reaper and Cooley K defeating Ultimo Maya and Kano. And during the matchup, J Red came up to the apron only to be stopped by the returning Eddie Guapo, who had not been seen in NYWC since 2011, I do believe. Up next, we saw the Lariat DJ Hyde defeat Braden Knight in a good matchup. Braden's other half of Reckless and Wasted partner, JT Kaysen, came in the ring prematurely to celebrate with some beer. And eventually, after getting the win, Hyde took whatever beer that Kaysen didn't drink and trashed it on the floor. Up next, in tag team action, Athletic Inc., Matt Justice and Jesse Vane defeated Demonic Juggernaut Apollyon and the Devil's Outlaw Stockade. And Stockade and Apollyon were ready to go at it, and Crusher Dugan reminded Stockade about that secret, or whatever it could be, that Stockade didn't want anyone to know about, and Stockade eventually left the ring. Up next, Indestructible Joey Tell defeated Man of Steel Mike Verna to retain the Fighting Spirit Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. I was hoping these two guys would have been given more time for their match. Up next was a six-man tag, which saw Jamie Van Leemer, Casanova Valentine, and Joe Conway defeat Francis Kipling Stevens, Anthony Lacerda, and King Mega in a matchup where, as a result, Francis now has to leave NYWC. And I don't know, this took place due to the fact that King Mega apparently took exception to Francis tagging himself in, and Mega chokeslam Kip, resulting in his team being defeated. And now that this feud is obviously over, where does Vitko and his guys go from here? It was great to see the locker room come out and give Francis quite a send-off, and Francis thanked everyone from management to the wrestlers to the fans, and even also announced that it was also Ref Nick's final night. Intermission took place after that. Next up, we saw J-Ro defeat Habali Jr. Then Marty Bell defeated Aria Cadenza to retain the Starlet Championship. And I'd like to know, what is the name of Aria Cadenza's entrance music? From there, up next, by the way, that was shocking. Cadenza was finally her first pinfall loss in NYWC. Up next, we saw the Desolate One Rex Lawless defeat Lucky 13 to retain the Fusion title, and I'd like to see Lucky 13 back in NYWC again. Up next was the Heavyweight Championship defended by Flawless Blake Morris against No Fear Mike Mondo and the Big O. Unfortunately, the match went into the crowd and they took it out the back door, and all three men were counted out. But then Shane told Jason the match had to continue, and all three men came back in through the front door, and they went over the guardrail right by me. Eventually, Mikey Whipwreck hits the ring, attacks Morris, and we have a Pier 6 four-way brawl, which the locker room came out to separate, and constantly ringing the bell. Why do they got to keep ringing the bell when there's a Pier 6 riot squad going? The bell isn't ringing. The bell ain't going to stop them. But eventually, Shane had said something to Jason, and he announced to the crowd that on Saturday night, November 29th, as NYWC presents Draw the Line, it will be Flawless Blake Morris defending his championship against No Fear Mike Mondo, the Big O, and Mikey Whipwreck. In addition to the fact that it's a four-way title match, it's going to be contested within the confines of the steel cage. And then up next we saw the TLC match, which saw Milk Chocolate defeat the Premier Gods and Battlestar Galactica to capture the vacant Tag Team Championship. And Milk Chocolate, who have worked very hard since debuting in mid-2013, they really worked hard, and they definitely deserve it. And let's see where things go from there with the tag team scene. Personal notes time. It was great seeing Greg and Sarah Gruber. Welcome back, James McGrady. Welcome back, Scott and Hunter Millman. Great seeing Steven Scogan, Charlie and Josh, who hadn't been there in months. Who else can I remember seeing at this event? Well, John Kurz, Shane, Forge, Neil. Who else can I recall at this event? Well, a very good show, and I'll say this, it did top last year's House of Madness, and I think we could say it pretty much topped House of Madness 2012, which to this day everybody buzzes about. I guess now it'll be time for the memorable quotes. What the hell is that thing? Sarah, referring to Big Jonathan Evans when he came out, as he was introduced as a bodyguard for the A-listers. What happened, Lottie? She didn't show up? Crusher Dugan when he noticed Jessica was not in attendance. He's a Met fan? Some woman behind me when she noticed the New York Mets logo tattooed on Mike Verna's leg. Hey, Robert Lottie, I watch all your videos. J-Ro when he noticed me before his match. He really does. Chrissy Rivera when she noticed me in response to J-Ro. I went to Twisted Shamrock after the show, and I will say this, I will rely on Sunset Taxi. And while I'm at it, on taxi companies, fuck Suffolk County Taxi. I'm not calling those fuckers again. Taking 20 goddamn years to show up. Huge fuck you to them! They pretty much are reliable, I will say that, after going with them, after calling them up for the second month in a row. But on with the after party. There were a lot of people there, and someone that was already there, they already were celebrating a birthday, and they were, I guess the ladies were smashed. A lot of karaoke went down, and I actually got up to sing Lenny Kravitz's Dig In, Kool and the Gang Celebration, and Richard Marx's Satisfied, which is now on YouTube. And great talking to people after the show. Great talk with Eddie Guapo at the after party. Among others I noticed there were Shane, Forge, Stockade, Ultimo Maya. Now, who else? Crusher Dugan, of course. Braden Knight, JT Kaysen. I forgot who else I was there, but I think Rex Lawless was there too. Well, we already know the main event for Draw the Line on Saturday night, November 29th, but here's a few other matches I'd like to see. I would like to see Milk Chocolate defend their newly won Tag Team Championship against Battlestar Galactica. I'd like to see Rex Lawless defend that Fusion title against DJ Hyde. Still waiting for that one-on-one matchup ever since Psycho Circus earlier this year. I'd like to see Athletic Inc. against any two members of the A-listers. I'd like to see Apollyon Stockade against the Premier Gods. Don't know about King Mega and Anthony Lacerra. I don't know who I'd like to see them face. But I will say, as we know, it was a tremendous show. And it was great talking with everybody. And I do have to say, Jessica, you really missed out on an awesome time. And, I might as well plug this now. NYWC has a fundraiser titled Firestorm on Saturday, November 8th from the Coram Fire Department in Coram, New York. And I will not be attending that show because I don't think there's no train stations in that area. But good luck, and hopefully you'll be able to do another fundraiser in that place in the new year. NYWC rules, everybody!